According to General Hospital teasers, Nina Reeves is aware that Michael Corinthos and Sasha Corbin slept together before Halloween and that he may be the father of Sasha's unborn child. Nina could try to use this leverage to prevent her daughter, Willow Corinthos, from losing custody of her children to Michael. Nina will most likely find a way to use this as a negotiating chip, but will she regret it when Michael gains the power he requires to put an end to her demands? Nina Reeves confronts Michael Corinthos and seeks proof. Nina would confront Michael about being the father of Sasha's child. Michael may play it cool, claiming that all she has is a bartender's word and no solid proof. Nina would inform Rick Lansing of her concerns, and he would attempt to persuade Sasha to acknowledge the truth on the stand. Nina would continue to look for proof to support her theory. When Sasha begins to interrogate Nina about Jason Morgan being the father of her child, she begins to wonder that she may be telling the truth. She could begin to put the pieces together, and after speaking with Maxie Jones, she may realize Nina has discovered the truth about her baby's father. She would instantly go to Michael and inform him that she believes Nina discovered that he is the father of her child. Sasha would tell him that she thinks Rick will get her to admit it on the stand. Tracy Quartermaine, on the other hand, overhears this exchange and thinks it's time to use her and Ned Quartermaine's leverage against Nina. Tracy and Ned Quartermaine present Michael Corinthos' video of Drew Kane and Cody Bell fighting at the Brown Dog. Tracy and Ned would summon Michael and explain that they had something he needed. Ned would tell him that they are aware that Sasha is carrying his child and that keeping this information private is critical to his custody case. Tracy would then pass over a video of Drew Kane and Cody Bell arguing at the Brown Dog, during which Cody confronts Drew about sleeping with Nina. Michael is astonished when he watches the tape and discovers the truth. He praises them and intends to use this to stop Nina. Michael Corinthos blackmails Nina Reeves into calling off the subpoena for Sasha Corbin. Using his leverage against her, Michael will inform Nina that she will urge Rick not to call Sasha to the stand. A haughty Nina would question him, "Why would I ever do that?" He would show her the film and tell her that if she didn't, Diane Miller would play it in court, and Willow would know everything about her and Drew's sexual relationship. Nina would be stunned and torn. She understands that Willow will lose her children if she does not expose Michael, but she will also lose Willow if she discovers the truth about her and Drew. What will Nina do? Do you think Sasha will realize Nina knows the truth? Will Tracy and Ned offer Michael leverage over Nina? Will Michael blackmail Nina? Keep watching General Hospital, which airs on ABC weekdays, to find out what happens next. Nina believed she had finally found a means to regain control of a situation that had been out of her hands for months. Tired of being ignored, judged, and alienated by those closest to her, she delivered an ultimatum designed to re-establish her influence and ensure her place in the Quartermaine Corinthos circle. She did not, however, contemplate the ripple effect. By pushing too hard and too soon, she unintentionally set off a chain reaction that would cost her more than she imagined. The ultimatum was directed at Michael, whom Nina has long regarded with a confused mix of hatred and dread. She has never forgotten how fast he turned on her after the SEC affair, or how vehemently he supports his mother. With Willow warily admitting Nina into her life, Nina felt Michael would finally soften. But instead, she encountered the same wall of guarded skepticism. Her demand, disguised as a plea for family togetherness, was intended to persuade Michael to embrace her or risk losing access to a more calm relationship with Willow. Unfortunately for Nina, Michael saw through it. What she didn't realize was how closely Michael had linked himself with Ned and Tracy behind the scenes. While the Quartermaines appear to be broken on the surface, Michael has discreetly acquired the trust of Tracy and an initially hesitant Ned. In the aftermath of his personal challenges, Willow's illness, remorse about the SEC ramifications, and the growing weight of responsibility, Michael found supporters unexpectedly. Ned, still reeling from his own fall from favor, saw Michael as someone who could carry on the Quartermaine legacy with both heart and strategy. Tracy, as smart as ever, has never been one to trust lightly, but she sees in Michael a combination of power and shrewdness that reminds her of her father. Unlike Drew, whom she still regards as a glorified outsider, Michael possesses the Quartermaine name and, more importantly, the resolve to use it. When Nina's ultimatum reached Michael, it wasn't only his instincts that kicked in. Tracy and Ned provided the leverage that turned the entire situation on its head. Internal firm information and long-held family secrets were used as leverage. Tracy had been withholding critical information concerning ELQ's posture, including Nina's earlier maneuvers during the merger effort and her indirect ties to Valentine's illicit actions. When Ned delivered his advice, fresh from the business battlefield, Michael knew he had everything he needed to outmaneuver Nina without raising his voice. Rather than reacting impulsively, he took a colder, more calculated approach. He gave Nina the impression that her ultimatum had been received. For days, she marched with renewed confidence, feeling she had finally reached Michael. She even started making overtures about co-parenting discussions and future family gatherings, under the impression that she had finally broken through. But the truth was quite different. Behind closed doors, Michael was quietly working with Tracy and Ned to build a wall around the family, limiting Nina's influence both personally and professionally. The fallout was fast. Michael gently delivered a sequence of revelations that challenged Nina's recent actions. He questioned her motivations, pointed out anomalies in her business practices, and gently reminded Willow that trust must be earned, not forced. Nina, taken aback, attempted to garner support but quickly found herself alone. Even Sonny, who once supported her with unshakable dedication, has grown tired of the pandemonium that appears to accompany her every move. Michael's leverage, while primarily business-related, had personal ramifications. He began to set terms, not as threats, but as non-negotiable boundaries. If Nina wanted a position in Willow's life, she needed to accept the framework established by people who actually care about the family's history. This meant no more power plays, ultimatums, or backdoor manipulations. Tracy, observing from the sidelines, couldn't help but admire Michael's quiet efficiency as he carried out the plan. Ned, too, recognized the shift. Michael was no longer the emotionally volatile son who had once attempted to destroy Sonny in secret. He had developed into someone who saw that true power does not necessarily come from confrontation. Sometimes it takes patience, planning, and knowing when to pluck the proper thread. Nina had underestimated him, giving him the opportunity he needed to solidify control. Nina was caught off guard by the events that followed. She made one more appeal to Willow, hoping that emotional honesty would prevail where tactics had failed. She expressed remorse, a need for genuine connection, and a dread of being cut off completely. Willow listened with compassion, but something had shifted. Nina was aware that the confidence she had gently extended was now being reviewed. The ultimatum, intended to draw her closer to her family, had instead pushed her further away. In private, Nina confronted Michael, attempting to salvage everything she could. But Michael, calm and steadfast, provided just the truth. He was not interested in vengeance or shame. He merely wanted stability for the people he cared about. Nina had a choice: embrace the new restrictions or risk losing everything she had worked for. With no allies left in her corner, she realized the cost of attempting to impose the future she desired rather than earning it. The Quartermaine Corinthos universe is rarely without disorder, but in this instance, Michael is firmly at the center, not as a reactionary player, but as a strategist with actual power. Nina's error has made one thing quite clear: ultimatums do not secure power in our family. Leverage works. And Michael now has plenty of it. Divorce court has officially begun in Port Charles. If you missed General Hospital on Wednesday, June 4, 2025, here's a recap. The Metro Court Pool is open and ready for another summer of enjoyment. Kai Taylor and Trina Robinson are ready for a swim, and Emma Drake joins them. Jocelyn Jacks appears shortly after, and Emma seethes as she walks up to a table where Professor Henry Dalton, Jen Sidwell, and Jordan Ashford are all making light chat. Henry explains that Joss is his new research assistant, and Sidwell invites her to join them. Henry discusses his study briefly before Joss is called away. Sidwell also leaves, and Jordan expresses her want to read about Henry's research. He explains it is still under wraps and not ready for public inspection while locking eyes with Emma. Dante Falconeri is struggling after discovering that he is Gio Palmieri's father. Gio wants nothing to do with him, which reminds Dante of when he discovered that Sonny Corinthos was his father. He pays Sonny a visit and apologizes for the way he treated him 20 years ago. Sonny does not need an apology because they worked it out, and that is all that matters. Jason Morgan also spends some time with Sonny, who thinks that all he can do is watch his family break apart. He can't help Gio or Dante solve things, and he's upset at Lloyd Cerullo for lying to everyone. They are still family, but he is understandably angry. General Hospital recap, June 3rd. Dalton interested in Emma, and Brooke Lynn kicks Lois and Gloria out. Gio enters into the Quartermaine kitchen and finds Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, Lois, and Gloria Cerullo fighting for him. He asks Brooke Lynn whether her family forced her to give him up, and she replies that it was her decision. Lois tries to explain that BLQ wanted him to have a better life than she could have provided at the time. When he doesn't believe it, Gloria jumps in to scold at him. BLQ had a light bulb moment and wonders if they pressed Camilla on her deathbed to keep the secret. Lois claims that Camilla didn't want to die, leaving Gio feeling unloved, so she promised to remain silent. Brooke Lynn eventually has enough and tosses both Lois and Gloria off the Quartermaine's land. After they leave, Lois comes by Sonny's to ask him to keep an eye on Gio while she is gone. Gio tells BLQ that no one wants him, and now the feeling is reciprocated. Alexis Davis begins her day by being questioned by her newest employee, Marco Rios, who claims that she may be involved in money laundering and offers to help. She argues that the Dolos fund is legitimate and that she understands what she is doing. She then receives a call from Rick Lansing, who requests that she appear in court because her unpredictable daughter, Christina Corinthos, is on the witness list. Willow Corinthos is afraid as she comes in court alongside Drew Kane and her mother, Nina Reeves. Tracy Quartermaine storms past Drew before returning to apologize for not having any ketamine to give him. Sasha Corbin goes off to the side with Jason, worried that Rick knows she is carrying Michael Corinthos' kid. Diane Miller, Michael's attorney, informs the judge that Willow rejected a $5 million settlement, and Rick interjects that his client cannot be bought. Carly Spencer is the first person to testify on Michael's side. She describes the film of Willow and Drew having sex in the nursery, which was broadcast at the Quartermaine Christmas party, and everything that happened after that. Harrison Chase is summoned to the stand to take down Willow's character. He confirms that they were previously married and that she cheated on him with Michael. Alexis arrives and pulls Christina away before she can be asked to testify. She is outraged, but Alexis emphasizes that she must do anything she says in order to keep out of jail. Dante is the next to testify, and he clarifies that Michael was not the intended target of the firebombing. Rick then makes him read a portion of Michael's criminal background aloud, while Dante explains the circumstances surrounding his involuntary murder charge. Michael was attempting to defend his mother and baby sister from Claudia, who was unintentionally slain. Joss arrives at the last minute and recounts all of Willow's poor judgments while Michael was receiving treatment for his third-degree burns. Tracy follows Joss and explains that she sees Michael as the linchpin and future of the Quartermaine family. She admits to being accused with kidnapping Wiley and Amelia after much coaxing from Rick. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the scoop, give us a like. Don't forget to comment on the name of your favorite character and subscribe for more GH drama every day.